You're listening to the Mobcast Network.
Welcome to the Cult Movie Cantina.
Hi!
Yay! This is the podcast that looks at your favorite cult films, pairs them with an alcoholic beverage.
That's me.
Shows them to someone who's not seen them. She is on assignment. She'll be here later. And then we talk about it.
Yay!
I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by, as always...
You're a facilitator of fun, and also you're a lady of libations, Stephanie.
And we have a special guest this week. We have Uncle Henry returning.
I love Uncle Henry.
Thank you for loving me. Thank you for inviting me for this. There are people listening to this, correct?
Yes.
There are people that listen
we
to this.
do have people listen.
Yes, we have
Very
listeners.
good. Thank you for listening, and it's an honor to talk about this movie in particular.
I'm really looking forward to this one. This is a good film. Before we get started, I want to make a couple announcements. Be sure to check in with our the Mobcast Network on Mondays to listen to our Star Wars podcast, Mando Mondays, where we talk about the Mandalorian every week. We've got some cool insights for that. So every Monday, check that out. Coming soon, we have a new podcast called the Boulder Free Zone Radio, Stephen King's The Stand podcast. We're going to start that in about 2 weeks.
I can't wait to be a guest.
It's going to be real fun. We're going to talk about The Stand. We're going to do the 4-part miniseries and then go into the CBS All Access show. I'm looking forward to that, by the director of New Mutants. It's going to be really, really fun. Speaking of our show, the Cult Movie Cantina, if you did not watch our last week's episode where I made the girls eat terrible jelly beans,
it's awful.
You can watch that. Definitely watch that on video on our YouTube channel at Mobcast Network. It is very, very much well worth it.
Please watch it. I'm making faces and stuff.
It's great.
And stuff.
You can catch us this Friday at on December 20th at 6:30 p.m. at Poindexter's for Cult Movie Cantina Live, where we're going to be discussing the movie Roadhouse. And raising money for the Movember Foundation. Stephanie, take that away.
Yeah, so the Movember Foundation actually raises funds to help things like prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and this year, I think most importantly, suicide awareness in men. So the Movember Foundation is very, very important. And I've been doing this for 9 years. This is my 9th year as a Mo Sister. So I'm very happy about that. So yeah, please, if you have a man in your life that you love, whether it be an uncle, a father, a grandfather, a brother, a son, whatever, please donate to the Movember Foundation because they do amazing things.
And check up on them. Just make sure they're doing okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, we're going to be at Poindexter's on Friday at 6:30 p.m. and we're going to be talking about Roadhouse. I've got some cool door prizes. We're working on a raffle full of cool things for everybody that we're going to do raffle tickets to raise money. And so we want you to be a part of that. We're going to be live on Facebook Live for that too, so you can donate from home. So we're working all those details out too. So be sure to come live or come watch us live and check us out while we talk about Roadhouse. So it's Movember, and we always do fun Movember movies. And so this month we picked Smokey and the Bandit for today's show, and we're doing.
Soccer husband is being cute now. You guys can't. Oh God, I'm taking a picture. Hold on. This is going on our show notes. It's happening. It's totally happening. It's got to happen.
There it
Soccer
is.
husband.
Soccer husband. So, this week we're doing Smokey and the Bandit from 1977.
Can I say why we picked this film?
Yes, please.
So, my father was born and raised in Panama City, Florida. So he grew up being a Florida State fan. Don't give me any shit about that. They used to be a great football team. I know they're not so
I don't
much
really
right
think
now.
our viewership. I mean, most of them are Alabama fans, but I don't think they're going to give you crap about
whatever.
being a Florida State fan.
He grew up in Florida. Florida. That was our team of choice. But so when he died of prostate cancer. When he died, he was buried in all of his Florida State regalia. So we picked this movie, A, because he loved this movie. B, Burt Reynolds went to Florida State. So
he also has a groovy mustache in this one too.
He has an awesome mustache, but yeah, he went to Florida State on a football scholarship until he blew out his knee. So there was that. Then he pursued acting afterwards.
That's true.
So thank you for blowing out your knee and being a great actor, because I enjoy your movies, Burt.
Sadly, we lost him in 2018.
We lost him, but in heaven, you're with my dad now. You guys can talk about Florida State in heaven. So there's that.
At last, a warm, sensitive, touching story about the close personal relationship between a man and a woman, between a trucker and his dog,
Fred, I'm so damn tired of picking you up. Fred!
between a father
No way,
and his son,
no way that you could come from my loins.
and how they all took to the road one day for a quiet little drive in the country. From Georgia to Texas and back in 28 hours flat with a truckload of bootleg beer.
I'll be driving this one. Yeah. Blocker. You'll be driving the truck. This is Bandit 1, and that is Bandit 2.
Now, who would do a thing like that?
You're crazy, you know that? Yeah, you know that. Yes. How much money did you say it was? $1,000.
Universal presents Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, Jerry Reed, and Fred.
We're gonna really have to cook. I mean, put it on the back burner and let's cook. Is that a 10-4?
10-4.
And the only thing that stands between them and an $80,000 prize, Jackie Gleason as Sheriff Buford T. Justice.
I gotta barbecue your...
Bandit, I got a Smokey report for you.
What's your handle, son?
My handle is Smokey Bear, and I'm tail grabbing your ass right now.
This is Smokey and the Bandit, the story about a lazy weekend in Alabama, Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas, Georgia.
Daddy, the top came off.
No.
We ain't gonna make it, son. We come this far, ain't we? Look, when we say we're gonna do a job, we do a job. It's me they're after. They don't even know Clean Snow exists. Oh, they don't? Well, I'll tell you what we're gonna do.
Smokey and the Bandit, proving once and for all, it's not where you're going that counts, it's who the hell's in back of you.
You got to duck it. You got to keep that trucking. Just put that hammer down and give it hell. He's pounded down.
Uncle Henry, what are your memories of this movie?
My memories of the movie are that it was a huge deal in this part of the country.
Yes, it was.
That it was not just well, I'll put it this way. People went to it more than once. It was a multi-view movie where people went back over and over. It had a tremendous cultural impact, not just from the Trans Am. The Trans Am was its own.
I want that car so bad.
I mean, it was its. It could have had its own show if
I
they wanted
want
to go
that.
give the car its show. But it also was a huge component of the CB radio craze in the 1970s. Where I remember they published glossaries of CB terms, so you could go by and learn the different terms.
Question?
Yes.
Did you have a CB handle back in the day?
I did not have a CB handle.
I
but
did.
What was your handle?
Mine was Chickadee.
Okay.
So, because my dad, so we had the CB. We did the whole thing. My dad was Jack Rabbit because his name was Jack. My I can't remember my mom's name, but mine was Chickadee.
Did you get the CB after the movie?
No, it was before.
Okay.
Like I had my dad and my uncle called me Chickadee from when I was a wee babe. a wee
Okay.
babe. I was always Chickadee, so that was my CB handle.
But I think the question was, did you have the CB radio after the movie, not
Oh
before?
no, we had the CB before the movie.
Okay.
Because I remember going camping all the time.
All right,
So
well-
that was a thing. The CB radios were a thing.
It was
back in
a
the 70s.
thing, and then it became international because the movie was an international hit, and it became a genre of its own. Where if you go to Amazon and see Smokey and the Bandit on Amazon Prime, you can see people who viewed this movie viewed all these others, and then there's a long list of trucking films and
Yeah, they were great.
car chase
So
films.
I watched this on Amazon Prime this week.
So did I.
too. I did too.
Do you know what was the movie you recommended afterwards?
Convoy,
Convoy.
Convoy.
which
Yes,
I think
it
was a
was.
year
It
later.
was a year later.
Yes,
Yeah.
I remember that. I was like, nope, I'm not doing Convoy.
It's like Convoy, nice.
I also did Amazon Prime.
And there was a shout out to Amazon Prime.
Thank you, Amazon Prime.
But you
for
asked
having
me what I
great
remember about the movie.
Yeah.
I remember the just the tremendous popularity of the movie. How Burt Reynolds was, I guess, top box office draw for a few years in that era. His popularity was through the roof.
It was.
I also remember that I saw it at what I think was then the Village 4 in Mobile near Bel Air Mall. I don't know if it was the Village 6 at that point because eventually it went from a fourplex to a sixplex.
Right.
But I saw it there off of Bel Air Boulevard in Mobile.
So
I remember the theater.
I saw it the same place I saw Star Wars because it came out the same year. It's the twin, the Bel Air twin. I
Okay.
think. You know what I'm
Yes,
talking about?
absolutely. Still
Yes.
empty.
Yeah, still empty.
Really?
But
Yeah.
but I saw
should
it
buy
at
it.
the Bel Air twin, which is where I saw Star Wars for the first time.
Very cool. I did not see it in theaters.
You were you were like born. You were a baby.
I wasn't here yet.
You
when
weren't
it
here
came out.
yet. You were incubating.
Yeah, I was
you were cooking.
I was incubating.
You were
I was-
cooking.
I arrived a couple months later.
So, Scotty, a little before and a lot after, for a couple of years, Burt Reynolds was ubiquitous on network television. He was a perennial guest on Johnny Carson.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He of course dated Dinah Shore and was on Dinah Shore, Merv Griffin, Mike Douglas. He was all over the place because he was that same personality that he showed in the car he had on the couch.
Well, that was him. That
Yes,
wasn't even.
that was
he
him.
wasn't even acting. Really, I mean, that was Burt Reynolds. That wasn't Bandit. That was Burt Reynolds.
But you asked what I remember. I remember that it not only launched him as a household name for
Right.
years, but it also launched that genre, not just trucking CB genre, but also car chases almost as
Yes.
cartoons.
What was the movie where there's a lot of cars and there's like
Cannonball
Ball
Run.
Run.
Thank you. Yes, that was it. Thank you.
Also suggested on
quick.
Amazon Prime.
Yes.
Cannonball Run, I loved. So same genre. It was
Mm-hmm.
great. Like it was a lot of action, so it kept your attention the entire time.
Yes.
Well, this movie has spawned 2 theatrical sequels
All right.
and then 5 made-for-TV movies.
Really?
Yeah, which I didn't know about until I started doing. I knew about the theatrical movies. I didn't know about the
Alright.
made-to-TV.
I've
movies.
not watched the TV movies.
No, but I'm curious.
I've only watched this movie, so what else do we have, Scotty?
Well, the Cannonball Run, not Cannonball Run, the Smokey and the Bandit 2 is the similar plot. All 3 of them are about Big and Little and have some kind of scheme where they want to
Test him to do something.
do some sort of quest. First one is beer. The second one is an elephant.
Well, what about the chowder?
They didn't do the chowder.
they don't mention
What?
the chowder.
ever again.
Except never again?
No.
We just assume he did it.
Right.
Okay.
We'll get to the trivia on that. I did the math. I was curious. I did the math. And then the third one, it's the bandit is played by Jerry Reed. And
Really?
yeah, he's the bandit.
He was the bandit?
He's the bandit in that
Not the
one.
snowman?
Not the snow. I mean, the snowman is the bandit. That's Jerry Reed.
No. The Bandit's the Bandit.
No, I'm sorry.
The Snowman's the Snowman.
Jerry Reed is the Bandit in the third one. That's what I'm trying to say. So there's a Snowman. Snowman's the Bandit.
Snowman's the Bandit.
I
don't like that. I automatically don't like it.
No one liked it. No one went to see it. Now, Smokey and the Bandit 2, I think, made a lot of money, but the third one made no money.
I love Jerry Reed, mind you, but he's the Snowman, not the Bandit.
But the second one has the cast back.
Yes, all of them are back.
This one is basically a vehicle for Jerry Reed and Jackie Gleason to make money, and then that's what it was. And it's a good soundtrack. The soundtrack for the third one's not bad.
Great, but no.
And if you want to know, I watched a clip from Smokey and the Bandit 3 today. So if you're curious,
Why?
I'll be. Well, I was curious at how the quality dropped off, because I knew that the only two people back were Jackie Gleason and Jerry Reed, and I just wanted a taste.
Well, Burt Reynolds has a cameo, and I watched the Burt Reynolds cameo. That's the clip I watched this week.
So he had time to do a cameo, but couldn't be in the film?
He wasn't interested.
Didn't want to be in the film.
Didn't want
He didn't want to be in the second one.
It sounds horrible.
But they paid him a lot of money.
But if you want to know, if you want to hear about the clip, I'll be glad to tell you.
Yes, please tell us.
All right, so in Smokey and the Bandit, there is a scene where Jackie Gleason meets an African-American sheriff. And the joke is he doesn't realize he's an African-American guy on the CB radio, but when he meets him, he feels a little embarrassed and he turns away and says to his son, "What is this world coming to?"
Right.
That was his comment on a black sheriff. So in Smokey and the Bandit 3... And I just accidentally found this clip. I was just picking a clip at random.
Right.
There are two African-American dudes driving a truck of chickens. And a truckload of Klansmen come up behind the black guys. And there's like 8 men dressed in full Klan regalia in a pickup truck. And they pull alongside the black men, and they smash their side mirror on their truck. They jump on their chicken truck. They empty beer out on the windshield. They harass the African Americans. And Jackie Gleason comes up in a completely different take in Smokey and the Bandit 3, and he says, "Son, this is how you deal with the Klan." And he ends up driving the Klan off the road into road work where they get covered in tar and then chicken feathers. And
tarred and feathered. They were tarred and feathered.
After making a racist joke in the first film, by the third film, he's attacking Klansmen.
Right.
Saw the light.
Yes, he saw the light.
Yeah. So the first film, I also remember him making the statement, "Oh, you sounded taller."
Yes.
You sounded taller.
Yes.
That's like, oh my God.
So let's get into this. So Smokey the Bandit, 1977.
Are you going to preach it?
In a minute.
Are we going to preach?
In a minute. We're doing that. We're opening the tab now.
Are we opening the tab?
Mm-hmm.
Can I hear you preach?
In a minute.
Okay. Preach.
Smokey the Bandit, 1977, directed by Hal Needham, who was mostly a stunt guy and a fantastic stunt coordinator for a lot of films. And he met Burt Reynolds on his last film before this, Gator. And we'll talk about how this came about, but the significant. It's written by Hal Needham and Rob Levy with a story credit. The screenplay goes to James Lee Barrett, Charles Shayer, and Alan Mandel. Stars Burt Reynolds as Bandit, Sally Field as Carrie, Jerry Reed as Cletus, or the Snowman for you.
What about the dog?
The dog, Fred.
I love Fred.
Fred was not credited. I want to see what Fred's real name was. He was not credited, but I have a note about Fred in it later on. Jackie Gleason as Sheriff Buford T. Justice. Mike Henry as his son Junior. Pat McCormick as Big Enos, and the great, wonderful Paul Williams as Little Enos. I love Paul Williams.
Oh my God, he's hilarious.
And so we have like 2 Oscar winners in the cast.
It's a great cast.
Sally Field won twice, and Paul Williams won once. He's been nominated multiple times. One for Star is Born, music song for that.
I've never seen that.
It was Barbra Streisand, 76, the year before.
I did not see that.
All right, ready for the sermon?
Preach it. Preach it.
Brothers and sisters, gather around. Wealthy Texan Big Enos Burdette and his son Little Enos seek a trucker willing to bootleg Coors beer to the Southern Classic in Atlanta for their refreshment. Big Enos has sponsored a racer in Atlanta Southern Classic, and wants to celebrate in style when he wins. They find local legend, the Bandit, at a rodeo at Lakewood Fairgrounds and offer him $80,000 to pick up 400 cases of Coors from Texarkana, the closest place where it could legally be sold at the time, and brought back to Atlanta in 28 hours.
Can I just say that I remember not being able to get certain beers.
Oh yeah,
It's weird. Now you can drink anything
I
anywhere.
have notes all about that too, so it's gonna be real fun. Despite the fact that Burdett has previously offered the same challenge to other truckers, and they all have failed, as they were all caught. Bandit takes the bet and recruits his partner Cletus Snowman Snow to drive the truck. I didn't realize his last name was Snow.
It was Snow. Cletus Snow. That's why he's the snowman.
Right. I never caught that. While Bandit drives the black Pontiac Trans Am, bought on an advance from the Burdettes as a blocker to divert attention away from the truck and its illegal cargo. They arrive in Texarkana an hour ahead of schedule, load the truck, and head back toward Atlanta. Immediately upon starting their second leg of the run, Bandit is stopped by Carrie, a runaway bride who hitches a ride, inadvertently making Bandit a target of Sheriff Buford T. Justice, a career Texas lawman.
I'm Buford T. Justice. Do you know who I am, boy?
Who are you?
I'm Buford T. Justice.
All right. I'm Buford T. Justice. A career lawman whose witless son, Junior, was to have been Carrie's bridegroom. Buford, with Junior intro, pursues Bandit all the way to Georgia and to get Carrie back, ignoring his own jurisdiction. He's just all over the place. He's just, he's going to get he never gets in trouble, though. He's he's more illegal than Bandit, I think, in this.
It's sad. And Buford's son is not the brightest crown in the box.
That's true. Various mishaps cause Buford's cruiser to disintegrate on the way. Bandit's antics attracts more attention from police throughout Dixie, while Snowman barrels on toward Atlanta with contraband beer, but no one really notices or cares. The blocker car does its job.
Woo-hoo!
Neither Buford nor any other lawmen know that Snowman's illegal manifest. While Bandit is likewise unaware that Buford is chasing him because of Carrie. Moments after crossing back into Georgia, Snowman is narrowly rescued by Bandit after being stopped by Georgia State Patrol motorcycle troopers. And state and local police escalate their pursuit with more cruisers, roadblocks, even a police helicopter to track Bandit's movements. Discouraged by the unexpected mounting attention and just 4 miles ago, Bandit's ready to give up. But my notes...
But my notes.
Yeah, this...
Not my nuts, but my notes.
Right.
Because Movember, we're worried about our notes. But not notes.
All right, so... Snowman was initially skeptical that they could get the job done, refuses to listen, and takes the lead, smashing through the police roadblock at the fairgrounds main entrance. They make it back during the race with only 10 minutes left, and instead of taking the payoff, Carrie and Bandit accepts a double or nothing offer from Little Enos, a challenge to run up to Boston and bring back clam chowder in 18 hours. They escape in one of Big Enos's Cadillacs as police flood the racetrack. When they pass Buford's badly damaged cruiser by the side of the road, Bandit gets on the CB radio and directs him to Big and Little Enos, but then, out of respect, reveals his true location, over Buford's left shoulder. Buford continues the chase, with leaving Junior behind with his cruiser still falling apart at the end as credits roll. Dad, get me back, bring me back. And so, there we go.
There you go. It's pretty simple. It's a simple movie. But it's so much fun.
It is a cartoon.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It is a cartoon.
It is so much fun to watch.
Everybody's performance is cartoonish, maybe a notch above what it ought to be, a little broader than you would expect, and it plays as a cartoon.
Right, and there's so many one-liners that are just fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some great stuff. It's great stuff. We've talked about Burt Reynolds, and I think Jackie Gleason is just an amazing foil for him.
Jackie Gleason is great, and I was reading, he died like 10 years later after this.
Yeah, roughly.
And he was so good. What I was impressed with Jackie Gleason, he's born and raised in New York, and like he's known for the Honeymooners, and he's always had that New York accent. The fact that he could do that Southern, like real Southern accent that he does for this movie is just amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Well, I noticed there were points where I laughed out loud on the rewatch just by looking at him. He didn't have to say anything.
No.
In some scenes, just looking at him made me laugh. And as you pointed out, it's hard to single out a lot of specific things because almost everything Jackie Gleason does or says is amusing in the movie.
Right.
I'd say his quick, sloppy eating and talking when the bandit buys him a Diablo sandwich.
That was
Diablo
great.
sandwich,
That was so good. That was so good.
Yes. Just Jackie Gleason, for a lot of us, is what makes the movie so rewatchable.
One of my favorite scenes with Jackie Gleason, it's not one of my... All of the scenes, Jackie Gleason's my favorite. He's amazing. But what cracked me up is when he had his, obviously, 30-something-year-old son in the car. And he's like, don't say that language. Watch your language in front of my young son. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
So Junior wasn't originally in the script in the first draft.
Junior's pretty funny.
And when they had cast Jackie Gleason, originally they wanted Richard Boone, Paladin from How Gun Would Travel.
I don't know that.
It's a show from the 60s.
I don't know.
By the way, well worth a look.
So Junior's a football player, right? Like the Junior in this movie was a football player.
No.
I thought he was.
He was Tarzan.
No, I thought he was a football player.
No, he was Tarzan.
Hold on.
He may have been a football player before he was Tarzan, but he was Tarzan. He may have played football in his life. He wasn't like a NFL or a college player.
Hold on. I thought he was a football player.
But you were saying about they wanted to cast Richard Boone of Have Gun Will Travel, which does not. I cannot imagine how they thought he would. Has he been in other big comedies?
No, he wasn't. And so they wanted him to be because I don't think they saw the sheriff role as this comedic powerhouse. They wanted him to be the strict lawman.
Yes. Junior played for the Pittsburgh Steelers
and
the Los Angeles Rams.
Well, very
He's
cool.
a professional football player. That's how I knew him from.
All right, he was also Tarzan. Is what I'm trying to get to.
I didn't know him as Tarzan, but I knew him as a football player.
I understand that.
Sorry,
but anyway, so I think they wanted something a little bit more straight-laced, and so Burt Reynolds was the one who wanted someone crazier and a lot more dangerous, and he's the one who suggested Jackie Gleason, who was in a career slump. He wasn't doing a lot in the 70s and late 60s. He wasn't doing anything really. He was kind of semi-retired. This relaunched and reignited Jackie Gleason's career. He had a slew of movies afterwards, including the sequels, and then he did The Freshman and a bunch of other stuff. Not The Freshman, but what's the one with Tom Hanks? Freshman's with Marlon Brando. It's like the summer part.
The one with Tom Hanks is where he plays Tom Hanks' dad.
Right.
And they have some
I can't remember what it
relationship
is. But
problem.
Which was Gleason's last film.
It wasn't
I know
big.
the one you're talking about. No, it wasn't big. It was more of a dramedy.
Right.
I'm doing it. I'm looking it up.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Originally for the script, Hal Needham wrote it for Jerry Reed to be Bandit. And then Burt Reynolds got involved and they switched the parts. They couldn't get financing, and then they got Burt Reynolds in. They got financing really quick.
So Jerry Reed did not do a lot of movies.
No.
But
he was a singer.
What I remember, something I noticed on the rewatch that I had not noticed previously is how really good an actor Jerry Reed is.
Oh, he's great.
And the scene in the movie, which I don't know if I would have put it in the movie, but the scene they put in the movie where he gets beat up.
Right.
Him getting beat up and coming out of that bar, that was some great acting. He looked believably beat up.
Right.
It was well done. He was pretty good.
His songs are all these, majority of his music is all these kind of story songs. You know,
Yeah.
these stories. You know, like here, let me tell you the tale of Amos Moses, or I Love the Bird, where
He
basically.
was in the toy, but he wasn't like.
Hold on, let me find the movie for you because
No, hold on.
anyway.
I was not told there'd be so much cussing on this
I'm
podcast.
sorry.
I mean,
I'm
there's
sorry,
been references to my anatomy have been made.
I'm so sorry.
Cuss words are flying around. There's all this phone googling going on.
I'm trying to
The last time I was here, there was no googling going on during the podcast.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
typically there's not as much googling.
We can Google in the after party.
I'm trying to find this movie. There's all the movies, and I don't remember which one he did with Tom Hanks.
Nothing in common. The first one
Nothing
there
in
was
common, yes.
That was Tom Hanks?
That's Tom Hanks right there.
I have never even heard of that movie.
It's not
He's
a
in the
broad
picture.
comedy. It's more of,
Nothing in common.
which may be
86.
an even bigger revelation to see.
Wow.
Jackie Gleason does good pathos as well as comedy,
Yeah.
so it
I'm
might.
so sorry. I didn't know. My bad.
So in the original screenplay, the car was not a Trans Am. It was a 1976 Mustang Shelby Cobra 2.
That would have been sweet, too.
The original screenplay, Bandit's last name is LaRue.
No, that's not good.
Carrie is named Kate.
I like Kate.
Cletus's handle was Bandit 2.
Nope. Snowman.
Mm-hmm.
Big Enos and Little Enos were named Kyle and Dickie.
Quick interruption. In the movie, there is a sequence where they say, "This is Bandit 1," and the guy says, "This is Bandit 2," and then it's never mentioned again.
Right. Buford's name was different. Bandit's car was different, and instead of the reward for making the run was a new truck instead of $80,000. So there's some little behind the scenes tweaking there.
Can we talk about how wonderful Burt Reynolds' mustache was in this movie?
Please, let's talk about that.
No, seriously.
Sure.
Like, he had the most majestic mustache ever.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
Well,
It was worthy of all the Movember.
Well, let me make a comment on his beautiful mustache as well.
Sir.
I hope you realize that you could take that magnificent mustache and put it on other men, and you would not find it nearly as magnificent.
No.
Something also has to do with the head it's on.
Right.
Right. He had the perfect head for that magnificent mustache.
He became he already was a big symbol to women.
He was a symbol.
I didn't want to say the S word.
An S symbol.
I didn't want to say the S word.
He was
big time.
S symbol.
He was a symbol of sexual desire.
There you go, a sex symbol. He said it first, not me.
My show.
By the way, Uncle Henry has a majestic mustache. It's awesome. Like,
well, this has
do
a
you
lot to
see
do.
how he looked at me, audience? Do you just see how he looked at me?
Now, again, this has a lot to do with Stephanie being in charge of libations,
It does.
which changes her perception of the majesty of mustaches.
No, your mustache is nice. You have a nice
thank you.
It's a nice mustache.
Thank you very
By
much.
the way, I actually own a face mask with your mustache on it.
God bless you.
I do.
God bless
I
you.
have purchased the Uncle Henry.
Are those still
mustache
available?
face
God bless
mask.
you. I don't know.
What that's KP?
I have one.
When we came out with those masks, we thought masks would be a thing for about 6 weeks.
And it became a thing for a year.
Yes, it did.
Or longer.
Yeah, or longer. Yes.
We don't know.
No, we
but
don't.
I have the Uncle Henry mustache
Mask.
mask. That's hard to say when
It
you
is.
think about it. Mustache
We need to
mask.
come out with a Burt Reynolds Bandit mustache
We do.
mask.
We do.
I bet you there already is one. I bet his foundation or family or estates pulled that
Whatever.
marker.
He had a great but I do have the Uncle Henry mustache
So,
mask.
Lady of Libations,
Yes.
it's time for our libation.
Yeah. So, come on, guys. I couldn't. There's no drink that I could have come up with. There's no cocktail I could have concocted for this movie. You have to do a Coors beer, period. Now, I opted for the Coors Light because some of us are like watching our figures.
That would
like
be me.
And me and Uncle Henry are watching our figures, but still,
That's a slighted fat joke
it's
at
a
me.
Coors beer.
I don't believe it was.
And thank God we don't have to bootleg this anymore. So let's pop our tops. Why did mine fizz and yours didn't? Why did that happen?
You.
I didn't shake it. I didn't shake
Stephanie,
it at all.
you are quite fast becoming the Jackie Gleason of this podcast.
But the point is, it's like we had our beer sitting out, and I did not shake my beer. Why did mine fizz? Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to Coors. Thank you for not making us have to bootleg you anymore from Colorado.
And while we enjoy this, we're going to cut to our Jellicle Jester, who has her own thoughts about the film.
Hello, it's your Jellicle Jester, Justina. How are you today? I would like to join you to give you my review of what I thought of Smokey and the Bandit. I would like to start by saying that there were no train robberies. That was surprising. Nor did I really see a horse. That was a little disappointing. If there was one, I apologize, but wasn't what I was looking for. That aside, I do think it was a fantastic film. I found it very interesting and wanted to watch it again when I got done. So I think it upheld the test of time really well. So that was good. I think it was a lot of fun and very interesting. And I think that Burt Reynolds was great, and so was Sally Fields. It was fun to see her in a different kind of role that I'm used to at my time, my age, and experience in films, I guess. I don't know. All around, I thought it was a lot of fun. Fred was interesting as an extra character. He really stole the spotlight a couple times. And I think that the truck driver himself did not get nearly as much attention as he should have, as he was fantastic. And he kind of felt like it was just like a Klingon to the other two. Like he just went with the flow. Didn't matter that his wife hated it and that he had like 500 children. And he was just living his best life with his dog. But all around, I think it was a pretty superb film. And so at this point, I'm going to go. I have a Coors calling my name.
Thank you so much, Justina. We hope to see you soon. She's gonna.
I love you, Justina. I miss you.
She's out, making real world money.
I find her fascinating.
She is fascinating. I don't understand how she hasn't watched movies.
And mysterious.
All right, ready for some trivia?
Yes.
What is the bandit's real name?
It is.
Bo.
Okay, that's part of it.
That's all I know is Bo.
I do not remember the last name. I think they threw it in there once or twice, and I don't remember
Bo.
it.
That's all I remember.
They throw his first name in once, and Sally Field repeats it. His name is Bo. At the end of the movie, he says Darville.
Okay.
Darville?
So Bo Darville. Bo the Bandit Darville.
I got Bo.
So that is a...
Okay.
So as part of the deal to take the to pick up the Coors, they convinced Enos and Little Enos to get them a blocker car,
Right.
the 1977 Trans Am, and they count out money for that. Do you know how much a Trans Am cost in 1977?
I do not, but was watching. When I watched the scene, sorry, but they were peeling off $100 bills, and I thought in modern times you need much bigger denominations
Right.
for a Trans Am.
I'm guessing, like, if I'm looking at modern times, I'm guessing a 1977 Trans Am cost $10,000.
So you think 10 grand? Uncle, what do you think?
All right, so now this is what it would have cost back then?
1977.
I'm going to go...
Soccer husband says 3.
I know he's smarter than me. I guess I'll go $7,000.
$5,799 was retail for the Trans Am in 1977 and 1978.
Jamie Ward, why didn't you buy me a
did
Trans
you
Am in
notice?
77?
Hey,
I'm talking to Soccer Husband.
when they bought the Diablo, I think it was $1.30 for like 2 hamburgers or something.
Right.
So everybody, most everybody knows I drive a Challenger right now.
I did not know that.
I love muscle
You
cars.
speed.
I speed a lot.
When
I'm
I've
not even
traveled,
gonna lie.
when I drove back and forth to Mississippi a lot, when I was on the radio in Mississippi, all the people in the Challengers, my goodness gracious, what scofflaws!
Before that, I had a Camaro. So I had Uncle Henry. When I had my Camaro, I had $800 worth of speeding tickets that I had to pay at one time, and had to get my license renewed because it was revoked.
Perfect person to review this movie.
I think it's great.
I'm just saying. So
She's our bandits, basically.
I like to drive
You're every
fast.
character in this movie.
So, I mean, my father, like, as a job, was a race car driver at one time, and he used to tell me he wanted me to work in his pit and, like, help build cars and whatever. So I grew up around cars. I love muscle cars. So I drive a Challenger. I drive a Dodge. I cannot even conceive of actually driving a foreign rice burner. I just can't. I can't do it. I will never do it.
You must have loved looking at all those old makes and models of cars, like the police cars.
Yes,
all the big,
all
powerful 8-cylinder cars that were riding around.
As I'm watching this movie again, my husband was out of town. I'm texting. It was like, I need a 1977 Trans Am. We need to make this happen. I need one now. It's my thing. But yes, I'm a muscle car girl. God forbid they please, dear baby Jesus, 8 pounds and 4 ounces of your heavenly body. Please don't let
Talladega Nights now.
Please don't let Joe Biden outlaw gasoline. Because if Joe Biden outlaws gasoline, I'll be in trouble.
I think we're going to be okay on that.
100% gasoline.
There'll be a Trans Am bus for you to take.
I don't have a hybrid. I don't want a hybrid. I want my muscle car. So that's my thing.
What do you say that?
Scotty does not know how to follow this.
I'm sorry.
I do. I'm just going to break your heart later, but I'll do it later.
Don't break my heart later. We won't talk about don't tell me. I'm just going to say I like fracking. I'm going to frack the frack. But it doesn't matter. I want my muscle car. And Reagan is my president.
All right, so
wonderful.
Yes.
A 1977 Pontiac Trans Am had at most 220 horsepower and a top speed of only 110 miles per hour.
I know, it's a tiny car, but still.
A 2019 Toyota Sonera minivan has 296 horsepower and a top speed of 150 miles per hour.
But it's heavy, and it's a minivan, it's ugly. I'm not doing it.
I'm just seeing you're like this car, and I'm like, a minivan can outrun it.
Do you realize that I would like enhance the motor to my 77
what we're going to do is we're going to get you that minivan and we're going to paint flames on the side of it. Then you're going to drive 150 miles an hour on the Bayway and get $800 worth of tickets.
Henry, what you don't know, in a brief period in my life when we had 4 children in school,
yes,
because at one time we had 4 children.
You still do have 4 children.
I do, but they're adults now, so I don't have to part. They're adults.
Thank you for explaining. I was afraid to ask
No,
at
I
one
still
time
have them.
before the purge.
Before I killed them all. No, when they lived in the house before they became adults, we owned a Kia minivan, Kia Sonoma. It was horrible. It was a dark point in my life. I made Jamie drive it. While I drove the fast car. I'm not going to lie.
Of course you did.
It was a dark point in my life.
So, do you know how far Texarkana, Texas to Atlanta is?
I don't know.
670 miles. That's 9.5 hours one way. So
I know how far from here to Houston is because I do that once a year.
Yeah, but they didn't go to Houston.
I know, just saying.
So,
I can tell you from here to Houston.
I know how far from here to Charleston, West Virginia, but not relevant to the movie.
Because we also do that.
Right. But so they got 28 hours to do it. It's 9.5 hours away, so they could have done it 19 hours with time to spare.
Can I interrupt your trivia,
please?
Because this reminds me of something. The discussion of, this is where Stephanie and I can treat Scotty like he's Justina.
Yay!
Because he wasn't born.
I wasn't born when this was going on.
But Scotty, what you won't know is that during the era of Smokey and the Bandit,
yes,
one of the hot topics in the country was speed limits.
Yes, it was.
and the federal government was trying to mandate 55 nationwide.
55. I remember 55.
That's why
Sammy Hagar.
That's why Sammy Hagar did that song.
It was an awful speed limit.
But speed limits were a huge topic. That's one of the reasons why there was a CB subculture.
Right.
Was to warn, because people did not want to drive that speed. Everybody was breaking the law.
55 was miserable.
There was a huge industry with radar detectors and the CB radios. And so that's kind of the backdrop of this fast driving.
Oh yeah.
Because even though the horsepower doesn't compare to the modern minivan,
right,
it was still a big deal back then.
Oh, I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying.
And this is one thing you don't know, Uncle Henry. When I was in high school, I was an exchange student in Germany, so we drove the Autobahn, which there is no speed limit.
Ooh.
And it's amazing.
Can we all just imagine our own plot for the German version of Smokey and the Bandit?
Smokey and the Bandit, it'd be amazing.
We must get bratwurst from one side to the other.
We must get... No, we must
That's
get...
what you think of when you think of Germany.
No, there's a thing. No, I have a friend. No, that we can make this a movie, because I have a friend from Sweden, and Swedish beer is super expensive, and they used to take their truck and drive it into Germany and get German beer and drive it back into Sweden because it was cheaper. So think about that. You're bootlegging German beer into Sweden.
Okay,
and
very good.
On the Autobahn.
And we
It's
want you
amazing.
to go to Sweden and bring it back in less than an hour.
In less than an hour.
Because on the Autobahn, you can in this minivan.
You can do that shit. It's
Yeah.
going to be great.
Instead of
Our stuff. I'm sorry, Uncle Henry.
Instead
Stop.
of
you can do that stuff.
Instead of a Jerry Reed soundtrack, we get Kraftwerk
Or
with Paul Williams.
Paul Williams.
Yes.
No, even better. What's that song that? Oh God, the
Luftballons?
the ya whatever song that.
99 Luftballons.
That one, but no, I'm talking about the one that the guy from Saturday Night Live does when he does that Swedish movie, the ya song, or oh my gosh.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah,
It's
I'm
like-
sorry.
Oh
I
my
interrupted.
gosh.
I had
If
to
you know
interrupt
what
the
that
trivia.
is,
Who's
put it in
Elf?
comments
the
below.
guy that plays Elf.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell does a movie where he's like Swedish or some stuff, and
Watching her try to control her language is the funniest thing in the world.
I'm a good influence, I think.
He is, and like they do this ya ding dong, ya ding dong. That's the name of the song, ya ding dong. That should be the name. That should be the theme song for the
For
German
Movember.
Smokey and the Bandit. For Movember, ya ding dong,
All right, Scotty, back to your trivia.
Hold on.
ya ding dong.
Where does Will Ferrell sing "Ya Ding Dong" in?
There's a movie where he plays this Swedish guy that sings ya ding dong. Look it up.
It's
I swear
called
to God.
Nothing in Common.
No.
I
What's
think
that
Soccer
movie?
Husband found it. I think he's showing
What's
it to
the
me.
ya ding dong song? Quick, Soccer Husband. What's that movie? European something?
I won't-
Swedish something? Please tell me. What? Eurovision.
The new one, on Netflix. I didn't get to see it.
Ya ding dong. It's great.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Ya ding dong.
Ya Ding Dong. Check it out for
That's the
everyone.
name of the song.
So let's talk about the other race that he's supposed to do in this. At the end, they double another thing on Atlanta to Boston.
Yes. Can he do that?
All
I
right,
don't think he
in
can.
18 hours, right?
I don't think he can do it.
So
physically.
it is 1,075 miles one way, or 18 hours one way.
No.
So it's 36 hours
No.
to
there's
do
no
that
way.
one. So
It was cute. It was a cute joke. No, we're not doing it.
that's what you get letting
By the
Sally
way,
Field decide what your future.
Soccer Husband makes the best seafood chowder in Mobile, Alabama, and I dare say even in Boston.
Okay.
I'm just
That is, you know what? Here in Mobile, it's all about gumbo.
No, he does a chowder.
Well,
It's
that's what
amazing.
I'm saying. He's such an outlier to be a chowder guy.
He's a chowder guy, but
Very,
it's amazing.
very nonconformist to go chowder in this part of the
and
country.
I even like.
But I have an appreciation for chowder.
It's so funny you
What-
mentioned gumbo because I even said his chowder is better than any gumbo I've ever eaten.
Now, Scotty, before you get back to your trivia,
No, we're fine.
what bits of seafood do you put in your chowder?
Come here.
Just
Soccer
yell it
Husband.
out.
Come here. No, you gotta get the
Don't
microphone.
make him get up. What?
Come here.
What
come
are you?
here.
Just shout it out quickly.
Shout it out.
Quickly. Fish, crab, shrimp.
Crab, shrimp, Fish, crab, shrimp,
Fish, crab, shrimp,
and Kaneka sausage.
and
And
Kaneka
Kaneka, all right.
sausage.
But, all
Because you
right.
got to put the southern flair. in
I
it.
wanted to imagine eating it. All right. Back,
Imagine.
Fish, crab,
Back to your
shrimp,
trivia.
Well, the next
Kaneka
time you make it, you can
sausage.
have Uncle Henry over to enjoy it.
Oh, please. It's amazing. I want to invite you. You can't have a shellfish allergy because there's shellfish, but it's amazing.
all right.
This film was nominated for an Oscar.
No, it wasn't.
It sure
Really?
was.
It had to be for the stunts.
No.
No.
Really?
There's not a stunt Oscar yet.
The music, maybe?
Academy need to work on it. No,
Was
not
it the music?
Nope. Best editing.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
Okay, well, that makes
It probably
sense.
needed a lot of editing.
No, the editing of this film was fantastic.
No, it's
all the
good,
cuts are great.
But I'm just saying that the movie was great.
Unfortunately, it lost.
Well, I didn't expect it to win an Oscar.
It lost to Star Wars.
Oh, well. 'cause it's
A
Star
reason
Wars.
to hate Star Wars.
So there
Hey,
it is.
Uncle Henry, do you see my Star Wars dress?
I do.
We talked about this earlier.
Look, I have the Empire symbol on my dress. I'm wearing
Yes.
a Star Wars dress for Scotty.
And
Here
see,
for
Okay,
you.
I would like to say she put that dress on. She had no thought of me, and then she's like, "I'm going to wear this for Scott." She's like sparkly, and when
Actually, I didn't. I put it on because I'm doing a podcast later, and I'm putting it on because I'm doing it with Scotty. I wore my Star Wars dress for you.
Thank
Do you
you.
want me to take it off? I'll take it
No.
off. right
No,
now.
no, we're good.
Okay, I'm good.
So for the television version, they had to do some heavy editing on it.
no doubt.
I'm sure. There was some language.
Yeah, there was
Not as much as I thought it
Not
was.
as much as me, but there was
Well,
some
no, I
language.
thought it was dirtier than it really was because, of course, in modern times, it doesn't seem that dirty at all.
Right.
It has
But
some
then,
innuendos, but
back in the 70s, Scotty White, America was not used to hearing Jackie Gleason be dirty.
all right.
So when Jackie Gleason starts cussing, America clutched its collective pearls.
Well,
I love though how he tries to correct other people when they're cussing.
Yes.
That's what cracks me up.
you're right. So most of the original actors redubbed their own lines for television.
Wow.
Jackie Gleason did not. So do you know who they got?
No.
Harry Corden.
I don't know who that is.
He
He
was
was in Nothing in Common.
Harry Corden was Fred Flintstone.
Oh,
2. He's the second after
Okay.
after Alan
he's
Reed
Fred
died.
A
Flintstone.
voiceover
yeah.
actor then.
Yeah, but Fred Flintstone was basically based on
Jackie Gleason.
the Honeymoon.
No,
House,
he
but
was.
yeah, right.
He was,
and so
but yeah, I get it.
it's appropriate that
It
Fred
is.
Flintstone 2, the first one had passed, came in and did.
Yeah.
Scotty, that is great trivia.
I thought you'd like that.
That
really?
is actually phenomenal. Thank you for that bit of information.
So they filmed a lot of this in Jonesboro, Georgia.
Georgia?
A
Or
lot.
was it in Sonoya where we were?
No, it was not. But near there actually.
Was it?
Yeah, it wasn't
Near
too far.
Sonoya?
Yeah, it wasn't too far. It's all around the Atlanta area.
Sonoya is where they film Walking Dead.
Yep.
And Scotty and I went there.
Right. So the Snowman's house, the warehouse where they pick up the Coors beer, are a half a mile from each other. The place where, because Hollywood Magic, that's what you do.
Right.
The place where they pick up the beer is across the street from where Lynyrd Skynyrd shot their debut album cover.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, that's awesome.
So I thought that was kind of neat. So
That is an
we'll post
intersection
that.
of southernality.
Right, it is. Hal Needham asked Jerry Reed to write a theme song for this film. A couple hours later, Reed presented Eastbound and Down to Needham with an acoustic guitar. Reed started to play it, and Needham immediately stopped him. Thinking Needham didn't like it, Reed offered to rewrite the song, and to which Needham replied, "If you change one note, I'll kill you." The song became one of Reed's biggest hits.
Yeah.
The majority of lines spoken by Jackie Gleason's character, Sheriff Buford T. Justice, were improvised.
I'm sure they were. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Adding Junior Justice's character to Jackie Gleason's idea because he couldn't be in the car alone. He wanted someone to play off of.
Right.
This was a guilty pleasure movie of Alfred Hitchcock. Loved this movie.
What?
Alfred Hitchcock loved this movie.
That is
and
awesome.
watched it often before he died in 1980. So
you realize Hitchcock was a big person for me growing up because my mother was a horror fan, and I remember one of the first movies I saw in the theater was it's not a Hitchcock movie, but it was The Exorcist because my mother is big on horror. So
How old were you when you went to see that?
this
Oh,
many,
my
5.
Lord.
Yes.
Do that again toward
Oh
the camera.
my Lord!
This
5
many.
years old. That's child abuse.
Kind of.
That's child abuse.
I
Take a 5-year-old to The Exorcist. It's sick.
But Uncle Henry,
Real quick.
it made me a very devout Catholic because I was scared to not be.
I also saw The Exorcist at 5 years old, but I was
That's
but I was-
child abuse. Nita Jeffers.
But I was on. We were living in Texas at the time, and this was during Hurricane Elena, I think, and so we were stuck in the apartment, and so it was on TV. And we remember watching it.
My mother was a huge horror fan, which you talked about. Her favorite horror movie of all time is The Thing.
Right.
But so Hitchcock was a big thing in my life because we watched all the Hitchcock movies. So, yeah, so that's great. I love that he loved this.
I saw The Exorcist. I just interject here. I saw it at a drive-in movie theater.
Did you?
Mine might have been a drive-in.
At I believe the Do Drive-In in Pritchard, Alabama.
Nice.
Whistler, 8 Mile Pritchard. And every time something scary happened, I would roll the car window up. And then it would get hot, and you would roll the window down. And then something scary would happen, and you'd roll the window up.
So were you afraid of the devil to get through the window?
Well, dadgummit, it was scary, Scotty.
So, Uncle Henry.
The devil's scary.
I didn't grow up here, but I remember that drive-in because when we did move to Mobile.
I mean, I can't argue the devil is scary, but
Do you know what movie I saw there for the first time?
No.
Sinbad and the Seven and the Ragged Tiger or whatever. Was that Sinbad? It was one of the Sinbad movies and the Ragged Tiger. Something about a ragged tiger. Sinbad and oh gosh, now I have to.
Sinbad and the Bandit.
No, it was a Sinbad movie at the drive-in.
There's too much Googling. She's
Why are you
Googling
looking
again.
at me?
Please.
You're looking at me like I'm stupid.
Stop the Googling.
No, IMDb, Uncle Henry.
While you're doing that, you know, something that's missing from this episode.
Oh, here it is. Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger. There you go.
So it's Sinbad versus Rocky?
Yes, Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger.
Scotty,
I saw in a that drive-in theater.
We've been talking about Smokey and the Bandit on your podcast.
We are attempting to.
And,
Kind of, yes.
And you haven't
Mostly.
really. Stephanie and I have both expressed great affection for this film. I don't think I've heard you give an opinion on it yet.
I'm sorry. Sometimes when I get into the role of
He
host,
was a baby.
Sometimes when I get in the role of host, I have a format to stick to. So I'm trying
Do
to
you like
steer
the
this.
movie?
Oh, love this film. Absolutely. As a kid,
as a film guy.
Act like you like muscle cars and stuff, and tell me how
Stephanie,
much you love
please,
it. Give it
please,
to me.
Stephanie. He, as a guy that works in video,
right?
What do you like about it?
So,
as from your profession and your own interest.
So first of all, the stunts in this movie are top notch, just amazing. Especially watching the bandit car just jump across the gully. It's so fantastic.
That was so cute.
I think
Sally Field. Oh my God, we actually.
Sally Field's amazing in this. I like
in everything.
Oh God, I love Sally
She's
Field.
great.
And
No,
like
there's nothing she's
her,
done wrong.
They're driving. She's realizing how fast they're driving as she's trying to take off the wedding dress, which is hilarious. And the performances are fantastic. I love. As a director, I love the shot selection. I mean, everything is. Today, this movie, would be, if they remake it, and God forbid, I hope they don't.
They're doing it.
I know they're trying to do it as a TV series.
Really?
Yeah, they're trying to do.
I have thoughts on that, by the way.
I do too.
Wait a minute. What? Why have I not heard this?
It was announced in October.
October. Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
And the one thing before, and I want to continue hearing your thoughts, but. The thing that stood out on my rewatch, one of the things was this giant redneck army of CB radio people.
Right.
So if you remake it and set it in modern times, it has to be Twitter.
You can't do
Facebook.
it. It's not. It doesn't.
It would have to be social media or internet
No,
is
it's
the way
not-
people
But
communicate.
It's not the same,
You know what I'm
Uncle
saying?
Henry.
No, I disagree.
It loses something. CB
It
radio.
would.
CB radio was something special, I think.
But CB
it
radio
really
was.
was, and you cannot recreate
But
it.
but if they put it in modern
I know
times,
you're a young pup. You're younger than us, and you think that can't happen. But no.
but if they set it in modern times, it cannot be
It's
CB.
nice to be known as
It's
the
not
young pup for
same.
once.
You're the young pup. No,
You
CB
are a
radio
pup.
is
Thank you.
special. And it's like, no, don't mess with that.
Okay.
All right,
okay,
Scotty, back to your
hold
thoughts on the shot.
No,
the
no,
movie.
you have no opinion on the future.
Okay, hold on. I do have opinion.
You're a baby. You
Hold
can't.
on. So, yes, you can incorporate Twitter and social media into it.
No.
However, there's still a CB culture. I mean, truck drivers still use CBs.
Do they
But in
really?
this movie, it's there's groups of teenagers with muscle cars just waiting for the Bandit.
It's like
How can we help the Bandit?
No, it's like Fast and the Furious meets Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh,
it's not the same.
it would be better
Now,
because
don't-
you could GPS track the cars.
Now wait a minute.
No
Don't
kidding.
get me wrong. I have watched all of the Fast and Furious movies. I love them all. I love
I've seen
fast
like
cars.
3.
I love them. But they're different from Smokey and the Bandit. It's a different culture. You cannot combine that. You cannot do it. No.
All right. Anyway,
Also, it couldn't be Coors beer because you can get Coors beer now, so it's got to be something else.
It would have to be.
Weed.
It would have to be.
It's got to be weed.
It would be
Marijuana.
It's gotta be weed.
Weed's getting
Uncle
too
Henry.
legal. It would have to be.
But not everywhere, so especially-
magic mushrooms.
Oh, you could do mushrooms.
Well, only, but weed
From
and also
I need to get you to
mushroom-
Portland to
Oregon.
Texas.
Portland, Oregon. Yes.
It would be kidneys. It would be people's kidneys for transplants.
Oh, see, that's.
But also, like in some states, only
Big
only in
Enos
some
needs a
states,
kidney,
weed
but
is
it's only-
legal. It could be either. It could either be weed or mushrooms or mushroom enhanced weed.
that got it.
What if it's
Big Enos needs a kidney from Mexico. So we're going to drive to
I do not want a Mexican
Mexico
kidney.
City and get a kidney.
So-
and drive it back.
I do not want a tequila.
So
that
we
has
got to
kidney.
drive. We've got to jump the border wall with the kidney.
I'm liking.
And this Sheriff Buford T. Pusser is going to be. It's going to be a great Latino
So are we
actor.
stealing? Are we
Edward
stealing,
James
like,
Olmos.
No,
like body
no,
parts
no.
now?
No, because Buford, if we're doing the immigration thing, Buford T. Productions has to be a border patrol officer now.
No, I'm
Okay.
thinking we should have mushroom enhanced weed.
Yeah, of course, and that's in general, not in the show. He's not in the movie. She's just like
I wondered what you were on, and now I know.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. But for this experience,
This is also
I
the
would
loudest
try
she's
it.
ever been on the podcast.
So Scotty was telling us why this is a good movie.
It's fantastic. The as a director, the shot selections, it's great. Everything is, it's economical. It's exactly what you need.
It's economical. I love how
It
he
is.
says-
And in modern filmmaking, such as with the Fast and Furious, and mostly because of Michael Bay's influence,
Right.
you have so many quick shots. They don't let speed linger because they think,
Right.
well, if it's got to be fast, the shots have got to be fast. This movie lets you watch the car drive. And that's, they don't do that anymore because they're afraid that people will turn. Oh, we can't have them like watch the car. We have to now get a close up of the wheel and then close up of him driving. And
No, I want the car, and
you
that's
can let
what's
things
good.
breathe like a fine wine, and this is what this movie does.
The scene where they are invited to ride in the rocking chair
Yes,
of
yes,
the convoy.
I was about
That's
to say
exactly
that.
what you're talking
Exactly.
about.
I was
That's
about to say that, Uncle Henry. That's great. Scene.
that is mushroom telepathy. Yes.
Come on, Uncle Henry, do it.
I'm not doing that. Scotty was telling us
He has a limit.
that there's economical directing.
It's
They show the speed.
Uncle Henry. I'm sorry.
the comedic beats are correct. They're funny, and they're not overdone. I mean, we get enough action, and then we get to see Buford be funny, and then we go back into the action, and then they add just like the right amounts of like romantic spark between Burt Reynolds and Sally Field, who I believe were dating at the time, and
Yes.
I can tell you about that if you want to know.
oh please.
But I don't want to interrupt your flow.
But I'm saying, and
What
so
about him and Lonnie Anderson?
that was
also
afterwards.
hot.
That was
That was kind of hot too.
I don't know. Sally Field's cuter.
Lonnie Anderson had big boobs, so
Hey,
she did.
well, I'm not disputing the size of her anatomy. All right, I'm going to interject. then.
Please.
All right, so Sally Field, she gave a lot of interviews after Burt Reynolds passed. she said that they fell in love on Smokey and the Bandit 2. That was the beginning of their relationship, and they ended it with Smokey and the Bandit. Smokey and the Bandit 1, they fell in love. Smokey and the Bandit 2 was the end.
Right.
I want
Which
to go.
means they weren't meant to be together.
I want to go watch Smokey and the Bandit 2 now. Because number one, I want to watch what Jackie Gleason does.
Right.
Now, especially that he knows that everybody's eyes are on him.
Right.
And I want to see if I can, because I read that Burt Reynolds hated making Smokey and the Bandit 2 because he thought it was unnecessary.
Right.
And I also know that the relationship with Sally Field was falling apart during it.
But
Right.
think about it. I think maybe.
So I was hanging out with Dom DeLuise a lot.
As it happens, Sally Field, I think, maybe fell in love with Bandit and not Burt Reynolds. Because, but I no, you laugh, but
I do, but
there's
go ahead.
such a Bandit was so close to Burt Reynolds, but you fall in love with the character. And then you have to live with the reality, and there's a difference.
Well, the
right?
reality would be I'm Burt Reynolds, and I love you right now, but I can have any woman that walks by.
Or I also have issues. Or I might be moody. I might not be.
I don't know how he could have been monogamous between 77 and 80 something.
They probably never. None of those people were monogamous. Are you kidding me, Uncle Henry?
I am not kidding you.
It's the 70s. No one was monogamous.
Okay,
I
was, but I didn't look like Burt Reynolds.
In Hollywood.
My options were limited in the 70s.
I meant in Hollywood.
And remain quite limited.
In the 70s, I was
monogamy
5.
is.
So I was
he's a handsome young man. If you want to hook up, just send me an email. I'll arrange it. I'll make it happen.
The 70s was a special era. And I think that for Hollywood, people lived an open lifestyle. Studio 54, the whole, you know what
Sodom
I'm saying.
and Gomorrah, yes.
Yes, it was a lot of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yes. It was.
But it was. I mean, you laugh, but I think it was.
Only not to cry.
I mean, I was a baby, so I was innocent in the 70s.
Right.
Which is the truth. I mean, it was like the whole...
We believe that.
No, I was a baby. Not so much in the 80s, mind you, but in the 70s, I was innocent.
Jackie Gleason was offered a percentage of the gross box office versus a straight salary. He took the salary, costing him millions.
Oh, poor Jackie Gleason.
Oh, Jackie.
Burt Reynolds said that a senior executive of Pontiac promised him a free Trans Am if the movie became a hit. It did, and the 1977 T-Type Trans Am became one of the hottest selling cars of the year. When the movie became a hit, Reynolds expected the executive to come through with his promises, but no Trans Am ever came.
Soccer husband, can I have a 77 black Trans Am, please? T-top? Nope. He said no. He drives a Jeep, and yet I cannot have a T-top.
You have a fast car.
I have a fast car. Don't make me sing that song.
But like I said, the Trans Am never came. After a few months, Reynolds, who was afraid of looking like one of those pretentious actors looking for his freebie, finally called Pontiac. As it turns out, the executive that made the promise had retired, and the new executive refused to keep that promise that made the Trans Am exclusive. So,
I love how you downplayed that.
Yeah,
Trans Am is amazing, and you downplayed that whole segment.
Well, I was more downplaying
Muscle car is amazing.
I was downplaying the fact that the guy didn't.
They should have given him a car.
They reneged on the deal.
Like I say, made in the USA. Anything made in the USA is amazing.
I would have sent him a Trans Am.
This podcast made in the USA.
This podcast in the USA.
Jackie Gleason would often ask his assistant Mal for a hamburger during the production of this movie.
How many hamburgers did he eat?
Which was code for a glass of vodka.
Oh, are you kidding me?
And this was according to Burt Reynolds' autobiography.
Oh my God, Jackie Gleason is my spirit animal.
I can believe it. So Hal Needham saw a picture of a Pontiac Trans Am in a magazine and thought it would be a great product placement idea for the movie. So he asked for 6 Trans Am. Pontiac would only send 4. Needham also asked for 4 Le Mans, which was Jackie Gleason's car.
Right,
but
which is great,
but he got 2. By the time they shot the final scene, they had wiped out all 3 Trans Am, and the 4th wouldn't start after all the stunts. So another car was used to push it into the scene. For Smokey and the Bandit 2, Needham asked for and received 10 Trans Ams and 55 Bonnevilles with no trouble.
Nice.
Yes.
Here's for you, Fred. I have trivia for Fred the dog.
I love Fred. Oh my gosh, Fred is amazing.
Fred the Basset Hound dog was for Snowman's Pant was personally picked by Burt Reynolds, chiefly because he refused to obey commands.
By the way, Fred is still in Smokey and the Bandit 3.
I'm not gonna lie, Fred is the star of the show.
Fred's great. I love Fred. Fred Goes for a Swim is one of my favorite parts of this
That's
movie.
my favorite part. He has to. My favorite thing about Fred, and this goes back to him not obeying commands, is like he's having to like carry him into scenes. Like he's picking up.
I thought about that. I thought, that's he made it look easy in the movie.
No, it
would be very difficult to carry that dog.
He's picking up that 80-pound Basset Hound and carried him into scenes because the Basset Hound refuses to go.
So, do you know why police are called Smokies?
I don't, but I
do
remember
not.
them being Smokies this whole time.
So, the nickname Smokey is a citizen band radio, so CB radio slang for State Patrol troopers and members of the U.S. Forest Service because of their hats. Some states outfit
Smokey the Bandit, the
Smokey hat,
from the
Smokey the Bear.
Smokey the Bear.
Yeah, some states outfit them with what are properly called campaign hats with a Montana crease.
I get it.
So that's what the hat is called. So I learned. So we learned something. Campaign hats with a Montana crease.
That makes sense.
The hat with the type of crease of late 19th century vintage. It came to be called a Smokey Bear hat after the U.S. Forest Service began publishing images of the mascot wearing one starting in 1944.
It makes sense. When did CB start?
No,
Do you have that?
I do not know how CB radio started.
I think you should have that. Why don't you have that?
Because I didn't think it was pertinent to the show.
It's pertinent. When did CB radio start?
I would probably say.
What is the birth of CB radios? Who invented that?
So I would imagine it goes back to radio, right? So it's got to be like.
No. It should be like actual CB radio. Who did that?
Charles Brand, the father of CB radios.
Oh, very nice.
Is that my homework?
1843.
Should that be my homework?
No. But if you know, put the answers in the comments below.
I don't know. But I do want to know, when was the birth of, like, on the highway CB radio? When was that a thing?
Probably the 50s or 60s when interstate would come around, I would imagine. In the restaurant, Sheriff Justice orders a Diablo sandwich.
Sounds delightful.
Do you know what that is?
A spicy something.
I have no idea what a Diablo sandwich is.
I think it's a pastrami with jalapenos.
It's a sloppy Joe, but spicier.
Okay.
Some restaurants replace it, have spice it with taco meat, taco spices. It may also include corn, diced tomatoes, jalapeno peppers.
It sounds amazing.
Served on a hamburger bun.
I would eat that.
At the 1 minute 27 mark, you can see Bandit shifting. 1 hour 27 mark. Excuse me. You can see Bandit shifting. My note moved. I'm gonna fix my. All right. At the 1 hour 27 mark, you can see the Bandit shifting the Trans Am. While most Trans Ams had an automatic transmission, the car in the film had a 4-speed maneuver manual transmission.
Just a 4-speed?
Just a 4-speed. Sorry to break your heart.
I'm kind of sad about that.
Which was available at the time for the optional 6.6 liter V8.
Close your ears, Uncle Henry.
Here we go with the cussing.
No, it's not cussing. I just want to talk about the package that Burt Reynolds was carrying in his jeans.
What?
I told you to close your ears, Uncle Henry.
All right, I'm out.
I'm sorry. When I was young watching this movie, obviously I didn't notice the package. No, don't leave, Uncle Henry. I'm done. Okay, never mind. I stopped.
Flee. I'm gonna sit here and listen.
He had an amazing package. Anyway, go ahead, Uncle Henry. I'm sorry.
I wasn't involved in this.
No, you weren't. You like actively were not involved. But I just want to say that. Oh my goodness. That's not a cuss word. Goodness. Oh my goodness.
What's next, Scotty?
Sally Field admits that she accepted the role and she thought it was going to be a mistake. It was going to ruin her career. Luckily,
it didn't.
Luckily, she got she won an Oscar for Norma Ray right after it. One of her two. She's been nominated 3 times.
Did you see the movie when she played with the schizophrenia?
Sybil.
Sybil was amazing.
Yeah, she did Sybil right before this. That's why she was considered.
Sybil was good.
So adjusted for inflation, the $80,000 prize for the snowman in today's money would become out to $337,446.39.
Wow.
The motivation for Bandit to pick up 400 cases of Coors beer is in a new semi valued at $8,000. That means that would be $200 per case, or a bit over $16 per bottle.
That's a lot of money.
Yes.
So here we're going to pause for a fun fact. Justina's going to share some fun facts with us about the movie.
I'm sorry. There was beer. I'm sorry.
When you're doing a podcast, you should always belch into the microphone.
I tried to be like respectful, but
she's a lady.
After the package incident.
I
love you, Uncle Henry. I'm trying to be good. You know I'm trying to be good.
I like Justina missed this episode. All right, so here's some fun facts from Justina.
Hello again, it's Justina, your Jellicle Jester, returning to you to present some fun facts for the film of Smokey and the Bandit. So let me get those pulled up, and we will go through them together. While Hal Needham was in Georgia working as Burt Reynolds' stunt double in Gator, 1976 film, never heard of it or seen it, the driver captain on the set brought some Coors beer from California and brought a couple of cases of to Needham's hotel room, to his room. After he noticed that the maid kept stealing the beers from the fridge, he remembered a Time magazine article from 1974 about how Coors was unavailable east of the Mississippi River because the beer was not pasteurized and needed constant refrigeration. Couldn't legally be sold outside of 11. Western and southwestern U.S. states, which made him realize that bootlegger's core would make a good plot line, also a word, for a movie. That is fun. It's always interesting to see where some film ideas come from, for sure. And it's also interesting to know that Coors had to be refrigerated all the time. I wonder if that had anything to do with their new logo of the little blue mountains that show you how cold it is. I don't know if that's still a thing. It's still not pasteurized. Any hoosers. So, next fun fact. Anytime you haul a load of alcoholic beverages, you are required to have alcohol transport permits for the load. In the modern era, most states will issue alcohol permits to a truck, and when you've got one, you can haul any kind of booze you want. And yet they chose beer. Tequila would have been fine, but it's okay. But back then, alcohol permits were issued on a load-by-load basis. New Jersey still does this, which makes life real interesting because all the European beer sold in the United States comes through the container ports in New Jersey. Everything's legal in New Jersey. That's a fun fact. Next, because Coors is a very light beer, it is pasteurized. I learned it now. Yeah. And it wasn't pasteurized in the 1970s. It was as perishable as milk is. To protect the good name of their company, they lobbied all the transport officials east of the Mississippi to not issue alcohol permits to loads of Coors. Probably a good call, because it would suck if you get some soured beer. Ugh. If you go back and watch Smokey and the Bandit again, the trucker who was arrested at the movie's beginning was nailed for transporting alcoholic beverages across state lines without the proper permits. And that will conclude my fun facts for Smokey and the Bandit. I hope you all enjoyed the movie, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.
Sure.
No, I mean, like, when I was...
Did it involve your daddy or your mama? Because there's a lot of daddy-mama stories today.
It's a daddy story. So, when I was a wee little one...
No. When you were a chickadee. I've been paying attention.
Yes, when I was a chickadee in the 70s, we were living in a dry county at the time. Because that was a thing back in the day.
Good for you, yes.
So my father would drive us to the next county that was not dry to get his beer. And it was a thing. So it was an event. It was a family event. Like, we're going to, blah, blah, blah store. And I'm not saying what it is, but we're going to the store to get our beer
Rouse's.
and our liquor. It wasn't. At the time, okay, I will say at the time,
Del Shams.
We lived in Thomasville,
Okay,
Alabama,
congratulations.
which was in Clark County, which
Yes.
is a dry county.
I wondered why people lived there.
Well, that's why, because we were trying to find religion, Uncle Henry.
Okay,
It
good.
didn't take.
No doubt. A lot of package focus.
But yeah, so we would go to the next county to get a liquor. But it's kind of like, when you think about it, it's kind of the same thing. You load up, because he would load up on several cases of his beer.
It was the beer
and
event.
Whatever. It was the beer
Well,
event
now,
for
there's
the week.
still, in Alabama, we still have dry counties.
No, we don't.
Yes.
No.
Yes. So, Stephanie.
Are you serious?
Stephanie Stockwell
Even
Ward.
today?
Please, I know you got a lot to tell us, but I have something to tell you.
We still have dry counties?
We still have dry counties in
That's a
Alabama. So if you were to travel Bandit style in your Challenger from Huntsville to Mobile, and you wanted to stop in each county to get a beer to fuel your drive, there would be some counties where they would not have beer for you.
I could do that.
And if it was a Sunday, there's also lots of different laws because some counties will allow Sunday and some won't. So
Okay,
it's
Henry.
that's still a thing.
I could do Huntsville and back in 9 hours. In my Challenger.
How much chowder of your husband's would be in the Challenger?
There wouldn't be any chowder. It'd be all about beer in the dry counties.
Okay.
I could do Huntsville to Mobile in 9 hours. Like
Okay.
back. From here to Huntsville and back in 9 hours.
All right.
I could do it.
My last bit of trivia.
Or fun fact.
Our last bit of fun fact. So the reason why the Trans Am was picked was because Needham and Burt Reynolds saw this brochure, this brochure of a Trans Am, and what it was like a 76 and a 77 kind of kitted together, and that's what they used in the brochure. Well, we know what happened to all 4 of the Trans Ams that were used in the movie. That's clear. They were all destroyed.
It made me sad.
They were all destroyed. However,
I would have liked one of those.
However, a guy in Miami, Florida, found the one that they used in the brochure and bought it.
Oh, no. How much did he pay?
He paid a lot, and then restored it. And then in 2016 or 2015, he had Burt Reynolds come down, and he signed. There's pictures with him with this.
Burt Reynolds?
Wow.
For real?
Yeah, it came down.
Did he sign it?
Yeah, he signed it, and he signed the brochure and stuff. So the actual, so he's got it, and it's on display in Miami, Florida. You can go see it today.
Jamie Wood.
Nice.
When we hit the lottery, I'm buying that car from that guy in Miami. I want that car.
All right, so let's finish this up.
Let's do it.
So this movie was made on $3 million or $3.3 million. Its original budget was $5 million. And that's what they were told, and while they were filming,
But they did it in 3.
no, Universal came down to just in a hatchet man and said, "No, we need $2 million of that back." And so they got that. $1 million went to Burt Reynolds, so everything else got paid on. Basically, the movie got paid on $2.3 million.
Everything went to Burt. Yeah.
The Box Office Mojo doesn't go that far back on the
Damn
day.
them.
No, but it's just it goes down to like 80. I think as
I
far
know.
back as
I've been on Box Office Mojo.
and so the movie did make $126,773.
Yes, they did.
I mean, made a ton of money. Only eclipsed by Star Wars that year. This is what I found out I did not know. I knew they were both released the same year. They were released the same weekend.
So let me ask you this: what if they put a 1977 Trans Am in Star Wars franchise?
It would be much better.
It would be so much better,
Wouldn't
wouldn't
it?
it?
I'm so glad. Thank the Lord you agree with me on that.
I think it
Yes,
would
it would be. Han Solo belongs in a Trans Am.
Do you
He
know
would
what
drive it.
ruined? You know what ruined Star Wars? The
Yoda?
Jedi. Yes,
Yoda.
Yoda and all the
Damn
Jedi.
Muppet.
It's all the Yoda and all the Jedi ruined Star Wars.
You're absolute. We have found a point of agreement.
Yes, we did.
But Baby Yoda's cute, so I'm going with that. What kind of sound was that?
That was Baby Yoda would be riding with.
Baby Yoda eats frog eggs.
Baby Yoda would be with
And all
Snowman,
kinds of
and he'd
stuff.
have to carry him around.
Right. You have to carry him around.
I'd watch that.
Here, Fred. Baby Yoda needs a name. It's now Fred. Baby Yoda's new name is Fred.
We call him Kevin on The Mandalorian.
No, it's Fred now. It's just Fred. Kevin is a derogatory term like Karen. It is, yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, seriously, if you look it up, Kevin is the equivalent to the Karen.
Quick to the Google.
Is there a derogatory glossary?
Yes. So Kevin is equivalent to Karen.
Okay.
So Baby Yoda should now be Fred, not Kevin. Because I don't see him complain a lot, but he does eat frog eggs. So he should be a Fred, not a Kevin. Because he's not a Kevin. Because he's not a Karen.
Okay.
He should be a Fred.
So let's play a game.
Okay.
Can you name, either of you, and you can back and forth,
Okay.
can you name the top grossing films, the top 10 grossing films of 1977?
Star Wars.
Is number 1. Number 2 is
Star Wars. What else came out in 77?
the movie we're talking about.
This movie.
All right.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Is Smokey and the Bandit 2?
Smoking Man is number 2.
What about Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
Number 3.
Oh my gosh, that came out in 77 as well?
Yep.
Uncle Henry, you're amazing.
An amazing year.
Also filmed down here. So.
I want to say, hold on, I've got this. I feel like it should be a Lovey movie.
There's a couple other movies.
I know, there's a Lovey movie in the 70s. I can't remember which one it was.
Ordinary People.
Wait, no.
1980, but.
Endless Love? Was that a thing? Wait, what was the movie? There's a movie that White Castle, some castles, some crystal castles, some what's the castle movie? Don't look at me like that.
If you know what she's talking about, put in the comments below. There is no castle movie in the top 10.
I'm trying to think. Goodbye Girl.
Yes, number 5.
Really? Tootsie.
No, that's an 80s movie.
Okay.
Goodbye Girl. Richard Dreyfuss got his Oscar for that.
Okay.
You got that?
Well, I remember the 70s.
Also, the second Richard Dreyfuss movie on this list.
I was a baby.
There's another Richard Dreyfuss movie on the list?
Close Encounters.
Oh, okay.
You know, it was 5 in 1977, so I'm trying to remember. The Exorcist.
Or that's earlier.
Some other The Thing.
80s.
Some other traumatic movie my mother made me watch.
I'm beginning to draw a blank.
Would you like some help?
Yes.
Number 4, Saturday Night Fever.
Oh God, that was horrible. That was like a bad movie.
It was filthy, yes.
Yes, it was filthy.
But if you want to talk about packages.
Hey! It was rated R.
What was the movie that had...
And ruined music.
The movie with Jamie Lee Curtis when she was thrusting. What was that movie?
Sick. Scotty, is there an Al Pacino movie on the list?
I don't believe so.
The Godfather was 72. Was it Godfather 2 or 3 in this?
74 was 2, and 1990 was Godfather 3.
I don't think we know. You're going to need to read the list.
No, I will. I'm so proud of what you guys did. So
not you guys. It was all Uncle Henry.
Well, you said Star Wars first.
I got 2.
Well, yeah, because I know that's the year you were born.
Strangely picked up on Richard Dreyfuss films, and I don't know why.
I thought about
you synced in on Richard Dreyfuss.
I thought about what's her face thrusting.
I'm trying to think. God, what is that movie? She's the aerobics instructor in it.
Right, and she's thrusting. In it. She's like sweaty.
It's got one word title too. It's gonna drive me nuts.
Perfect.
There you go.
Oh
there it is.
Uncle Henry, you secretly saw that movie and you like it.
Hey, this is not a place for accusations.
But you knew the movie.
I lived through the 70s.
I think actually Perfect's 80.
And you know
right?
what? There weren't lots of other movies back then. You knew movies even if you didn't go to them.
I feel like you should have just kept that secret. Like you didn't know it.
I'm trying to think of late 70s movies.
You should tell us.
Number 6, A Bridge Too Far.
I never saw that.
Okay.
Sean Connery, Michael Caine, Gene Hackman. It's a good movie.
Nope. Pass.
The Deep.
Nope. Pass.
Really?
Yeah, The Deep.
Oh, that's the Peter Benchley follow-up to Jaws.
Right, Peter Benchley followed to the.
I never saw it. Pass.
Number 8,
Next.
The Spy Who Loved Me, Roger Moore's third
Oh,
Bond movie.
I did see that. That was good.
Number 9, Oh God.
Oh, I did like Oh God.
With
That's
the
the first Oh God?
Yeah, the first Oh God was 77. So that's George Burns and John Denver.
I'm kind of like, am I
Wow.
that old that was the first
A
one?
little pause on the fact that once
I
upon a
remember that
time,
movie.
John Denver was huge.
Oh, great. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm
It
wondering,
was so
I am
huge.
now like trying to live with the fact that I remember watching that movie and I feel like I'm old now.
You
Wow.
should. If you remember that movie, we're all old.
And last but not least, number 10, Annie Hall, which won the Oscar for Best
Annie
Picture that year.
Hall.
I never
Okay.
saw that movie because I don't like him. The person
I'm
who
not
did it.
I'm a fan of Woody Allen movies either.
I don't like him like philosophically.
Well, unfortunately, he's believed all of his press up until the
That's what I'm saying.
nasty part.
I have philosophical issues with Woody Allen, so
Okay.
I won't watch his movies.
Okay.
Same
All
way
right.
with me and Roman Polanski.
Right. For the same, because he's weird.
Just
Except some of his movies are good. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, well, it better
Roman
not be
Polanski
Rosemary's Baby.
Rosemary's
That was
Baby.
sick.
No, I grew
Ruth
up
Gordon.
watching that. That's one of the movies
Sick.
my mother made me watch.
Of course you did.
Around the baby.
Let me
It's
tell
sick.
you,
Hey,
Rosemary's Baby made me
bad.
question if I ever wanted to have a child.
See?
Hey,
That's bad.
You mentioned this on your show actually
It's
this
good
week.
birth control.
What?
You said chanting. The Thanksgiving gathering is being limited, and they were like, "Please don't sing or chant at your Thanksgiving gathering." And this is stuck in my brain for some reason.
Well, I've tried to figure out
Can we chant? What can
who
we chant?
chants at Thanksgiving. I'm sure there are some cultures where there's some chanting.
Oh, mama, Coors Light. Oh, my Coors Light. Oh, mama.
Oh, it's going to be the people in Rosemary's
Ronald
Baby chanting about the baby.
Ronald Reagan and Coors Light. Oh, mama. Coors Light and Ronald Reagan.
I didn't wear my Reagan button. I wanted to wear a Mopcast.
You did. I see you
But-
sporting.
It's
sporting
okay. I
this-
know you're a Reagan fan, so it's fine.
Good.
Well, this has been a journey.
It's been special.
This didn't go the way I thought it would.
Me neither.
Can I say something in the end?
I was, of course, it's your podcast.
Yes.
No.
We're just along for the ride.
Now it's for Movember. It's the last Movember tag. So, all joking aside, this podcast has been amazing. But please donate or share my Movember fundraiser. We're gonna put the link to the fundraiser in our show notes.
And the show notes, yes.
And I am urging you, please, any monetary amount is amazing. This takes care of men's health awareness. We're talking of prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and especially this year, suicide prevention, because men, for whatever reason, feel like they can't express their feelings. And I think it's important that men know that it's okay to be stressed out or depressed or whatever, because 2020 sucks. But so please, we're going to post our show, the link to our donation, my donation page in our show notes. Please donate, share, whatever you feel like, and also like our page because it's funny. Our shows are amazing.
They're fun.
They're fun.
So, final thoughts on the movie?
Final thoughts on the movie. Huge cultural movie for the country. Didn't have the impact Star Wars had, of course, but still had a big impact.
It had a huge impact.
And I was so pleased to be and honored to be asked to be on this show because it gave me an excuse to rewatch Smokey and the Bandit. And you just mentioned how bad this year's been. It was so much fun to just sit and laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I
Yes,
did.
it was.
I just sat and laughed and was so delighted with that movie. And I don't know if it would appeal to the young freaks that listen to this podcast. But if you're,
I love you, Uncle Henry.
well,
love
I
you,
know
our freaks.
there's a lot of young freakish people that listen to this. But if you're looking for something that's just pure fun that doesn't have to make sense, it's just people wrecking cars and chasing each other. Watch it. It was a great
It's so
stress reliever
good.
for me.
I was absolutely delighted on how well this movie holds up. I'm going to talk about Star Wars for just a second, the 77 film.
No, don't do it.
Star Wars, for all its greatness, the biggest problem I have with it, and the reason why I don't watch it a lot, is that it looks so 70s. It looks straight up like a 70s film. It's
slow as molasses.
But just the costuming.
Until they fight with their light sticks, it's slow as molasses. Let's walk through the sand for 20 minutes.
Light sticks, I love it.
So I was impressed and delighted to see the fact that Smokey and the Bandit looked great. And while it was a 70s movie, I don't feel it doesn't have that. This is strictly 1970s. I mean, it's got a wider berth in it. It's not today, but it's not. It's not as dated as Star Wars looks.
Well, if we went out on the interstate this evening, we'd run into similar people right now.
Right.
We'd run into the same people if we went out on the interstate right now.
And so, and the action's great in it. The Jackie Gleason's hilarious. I mean, just
genius,
and especially learning how everything is improv. Most of his lines were improv, and just the scene where he goes. We talked about it, but the Diablo sandwich scene, it will just floor you. It would just. I just need
so
it.
Funny.
And just it's so funny, and just the interaction. So I highly, if you've never seen Smokey and the Bandit, seriously watch it. It's great. It is an American classic.
And here's my thoughts on the film. 90% of the stuff that Scotty makes me watch, I am playing Candy Crush while I'm watching the show.
Oh, what a sad admission.
No, it's true.
And I'm doing like work.
And I still I still pay attention. I do way better than Justina. Way better than Justina. I still
Poor
pay
Justina.
attention. So
Poor Justina.
Justina, are you going to take that?
I love you, Justina, but still. For this movie, I literally, the only phone time I did was back and forth with my soccer husband, quoting lines from this movie. Like I have the entire text archive, whatever, text thread of us doing Smokey and the Bandit quotes back and forth the entire time I'm watching this movie because it's that good. That's all I did during this movie, and please watch it.
Yeah, it's great.
It's a good movie.
Okay, so next time you can catch us December 20th at Poindexter's when we're going to talk Roadhouse.
Do it! Woo! And come!
Now what day is that? November or December?
November.
It's like November
you have a show.
20th.
So
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
November 20th.
Uncle Henry, where can we find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Uncle Henry Show. Look for Uncle Henry Show on Facebook. Look for Uncle Henry Show on YouTube. Look for Uncle Henry on Twitter.
Every Friday night, 8 p.m., right?
That is correct.
It's a great show. It's a wonderful. I enjoy it, and thank you. We were on recently, so it was so great to be on there.
I was a bonus person. I was there to support Scotty, and I got to be on the show. So thank you for that.
I just wish you'd had some cores.
I wish I'd had some courses.
Before you get on my show.
The next time we'll
I'm a little sad that all of the people around us were drinking and nobody offered me a beverage.
Pulled the tablecloth off.
Yes.
As the shows went on, she's just been pulling on.
When you're talking about packages,
I also do that in the bed.
I don't want to know this. On that note, this is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours. Bye.